Hey sister, this is Dr. Karen Osborne. Listen, I'm going to talk to you for 30 seconds before this episode begins about my next Women Wanting More live event. This is 2.5 days of women just like you being pushed physically, mentally, emotionally, getting really clear on what they want, knowing why it matters, and leave with the tools to actually put that into action and being part of a sisterhood. So if this is something that really, really resonates within your heart, sister, I want you to head over to drkarenosborne.com, click on the Work With Me button, and we can start the application process. I look forward to hearing from you. Here's that episode.
Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So, sister, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you will know that I have been boxing for, it's been about 4 months. Consistently with my trainer here since I moved to Victoria has been about 2 months, I want to say, around twice a week. But I have, found several lessons in boxing that I think would be applicable to share with you on today's episode. So let's talk about this. And I'm just going to riff. I don't have any kind of a list put together. We'll see how many that I have. But there are so many things that I, really connect with about boxing. And it's beyond I'm a very aggressive person. So boxing is something where I get that aggression out and I'm able to express that. But there are a lot of lessons. And my trainer, Rob, and I've had some amazing conversations between rounds or afterwards or by text and stuff like that. And so I'm going to share them with you on today's episode. So here we go. So here's lesson number 1 that I've learned from boxing. And, some of these, if anything, are a reminder, but here's one of them. Mindset is everything. Mindset is everything. So one of my goals is 2017 is to fight. So I'm going to be connected up soon with another female to spar because I've just been sparring with Rob. He's like 6 foot somethings, kickboxer. When I fight, language matters, right? When I fight in 2017, I will not be paired up with a 6'1", male, right? So he's going to put me with somebody. And so I've had a lot of questions with him because he's got other athletes that he trains, right? And people that are doing this at a much more, intense level that I am. And we talked about mindset. And I remember at the very beginning saying, it makes sense to me that you have to go in with an attitude and a mindset, like not just say, but really believe that I'm winning, right? I am winning. There is no other option that really needs to be in your mind, because if you have any kind of doubt or fear or uncertainty, by all means, again, without having been in the ring yet, I would think there's going to be a little bit of fear. There's going to be a little bit of nervousness. But if you go in thinking holy shit, I hope I don't get knocked out, or, oh my God, they're probably so much better than me. This is going your headspace has to be in there. And not just when you walk in the ring on that fight night, but throughout your training, right? It is a mindset thing. It is a mental game way more than physical. Because even for myself, as I'm learning all the different combinations and I'm getting stronger and learning how to understand, harness my power and my strength more. And when there's times when I'm having an off training day, it would be easy. And I've caught myself going there to get inside my head going what the fuck am I thinking? I'm a 47-year-old broad. I'm going to go and fight some chick in her 20s? What the fuck? That's crazy. What am I thinking? I don't need to do this. What am I trying to prove? Blah, 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 right? And I'll go there very quickly. I'm just no, just get right back to it, right? Or how about this too? I suck. I should be better than I am where I am right now. I haven't been training enough. Maybe any of those kind of things. But I can go through all that negative shit in my head. And it would throw me off in my training. And it would certainly throw me off in a fight. So how is that relevant to you, sister? Well, how you approach your life, your day, your relationships, your business and work, how you show up in your life is all about mindset. It's everything, sister. It's everything. It's everything. So here's another lesson as I'm just riffing off this. I'm like, mindset's been a really big thing. What else have been some great ones? The importance of being able to harness your power. So here's what I mean by that. So I now, which was interesting at first when I was training with Rob and I'd start to like fight, right? He's like, give me combinations. Or he's like, basically like sparring with me, right? And I didn't know this at first, but he's like, well, come closer. Like you keep backing away. And I was like, dude, I'm so afraid to get hit in the face. Like, and we're not doing contact. We're just kind of sparring, right? And he was being really light with me and still is, but I was afraid of that. And so when I kind of just like, again, mindset shift with this, I'm like, it's going to be okay. I'm not going to get in the face. I'm sparring here with Rob. Like, let's just get some perspective. And then when I started to really like, I would think of things, right? And so when I'm training, it's like, and you have, by the way, when you're boxing, like your head's kind of down a little bit, your shoulders are kind of upright. You've got your gloves in front of your face, right? And I'm just really intensely focusing and being very present, right? Being very present as he's calling out the combinations or holding up a mitt for me to punch or, throwing things for me to block. And so one thing that I've noticed with this, as I'm thinking about what it was like to actually be in the ring and to share this story, and now I'm totally off track. Okay, Jesus, man. This is what happens when I record a podcast. I actually drove my son to school today because it's like, he's promised by his daddy to drive to school, so here we're driving to school. And usually I walk when I record these podcasts. It's how I actually think best, which is interesting. So here's what I'm doing. I'm getting out of the car because I pulled into the driveway and I just sat here recording, and I'm going to move so I can think better. So let's go back here. Lesson number 1, mindset is everything. Okay, mindset is everything. Lesson number 2, here we go. Now it's come to me as I'm walking and moving. Lesson number 2, know how to harness your power. So as I was just starting to explain, yes, when I got over that fear of like, oh my God, I'm going to hit in the face, I was like, okay, let me really get to a place of, aggression. Let me really get to that space and really use my power. But what happens at times, if I kind of like get super into like Dark Warrior Karen, I can just start flailing punches. And they may not land. And technique's probably going to be like off, right? I might not even like have all the certain parts of a particular punch or combination, And so what I'm actually learning is that it isn't about just, let me just, go into the ring and, oh my gosh, there's a little baby deer. Hi, baby deer. This is what it's like when you live in Victoria, right on my neighbor's lawn. I'm going to just take a little walk away because sometimes mommy's around or daddy. We want to be respectful of these guys. So I can go in just pure raw aggression, right? But that's not necessarily powerful. That's not necessarily going to get me the result I want, which is when I fight to knock her out, to win the fight, right? So I have to learn to kind of like harness that, almost like rein it in. I almost, rein it into me isn't really the best way to describe that because you don't want to hold back that power, but you want to channel it. You want to harness it to really get you the best result. And so I'm learning that there's a line of like just being all out raw aggression and being really focused. My trainer Rob talked about how boxing and fighting is spiritual. I was like, spiritual? Dude, that's deep. I love that shit. I go, tell me what you mean. He's like, well, you're kind of honoring your opponent by like going all out. You don't hold back. Respectful of what goes on in the ring. Like it's like spiritual practice for him. He's a kickboxer, right? So there's lesson number 2, which is like learn how to harness your power. Anybody can go out, fist to flying, right? You can go into a conversation with someone and be someone, if you're like me, who's very extroverted, I can be very powerful and I can intimidate people with how I show up and the words I use, and I can talk really fast and talk over people, but that's not powerful. That's not powerful to show up that way. So really learn how to harness your power, how to channel it to really get what you want, to create a situation, if it involves somebody else, where it really truly is a win-win. Right? Where truly is a win-win in this. So mindset is everything. Learn how to harness your power. Oh gosh. I think I've had about maybe 15, 16 sessions so far. Times that have been great, times that have been not so great. And I would say it's simply just this. It's like you just keep showing up every single day. You show up every day. You show up every day. Are there times that I'm like, I don't feel like going? Absolutely. Are there times I'm tired? Are there times I show up and I'm just like, dude, even when we're going through rounds, I'm like, it's tiring. It's tiring. I was saying to Rob today, I was like, I really feel like my cardio is like really improved. Like I'm feeling strong with that. But yet I can see as we're going through things and I don't feel the same strength and power. Those 2-3 minute rounds seem long when you're throwing punches and ducking and, lots going on, right? You're hitting a heavy bag, did speed bag today. So it is every day, right? It's showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, when you know truly what you want, because it's consistency that makes a difference. We're going to call that lesson number 4. Consistency makes a difference. Actually, consistency is everything. Consistency is everything. Anyone can start, but can you continue? I'm not even saying can you finish, because there's no finish line in life. Ever. So you can start, whoop-de-doo. Can you continue? Can you do it no matter what? My husband and I first started podcasting. My first podcast, Mom at 41, came out in July of 2014. Ed's podcast, The Chiropractic Philanthropist, which is still going. He's had others that he's brought out since, but that started in August of 2014. And it's interesting. We were in a podcasting group. A lot of people could start. But a lot of people would, as I heard someone refer to this, pod fade. So they'd put out 3 episodes, 7, 8, 12, and suddenly they're just like, boop, they're done. They're gone. Because they put all this effort in starting, but they didn't understand that the real work is once your podcast launches, now you're creating consistent episodes on a daily basis, weekly, 3 times a week, whatever that frequency is for your particular podcast. But consistency is everything. Again, anybody can start, but can you continue? So I'm going to call this part 1 of Lessons in Boxing, because I think there were so many things, so many gifts I've gotten from boxing, and I'm going to keep sharing them and dropping little knowledge bombs along the way with that. But yeah, let's come and see if I can remember what they were. So mindset matters. Harness your power. Show up every single day. And consistency is everything. Big lesson. So here's your more tip from today. Pick one of those lessons, and I want you to apply it to an area of your life. So let's give an example of health, since I'm talking about my boxing training, right? Consistency matters. What is a particular outcome that you want with your health? Is it weight loss? Is it fat loss? Is it you want to have more strength? Like, just understand too, it has to be measurable, right? Is it that you want more energy? How would you measure that? Do you want to sleep more at night? Do you want to drink more water? Do you want to eliminate more inflammatory foods like grains and glutens and sugars? Do you want to just maybe introduce healthier foods in? Do you want to start having supplements, right? Like, what is it with your health, the outcome that you want? Clearly defined outcome. And then let's say again too, if it was consistency matters, are you showing up consistently based on the outcome that you want? Tell the truth. Are you consistently showing up that will get you the outcome that you want? And if the answer is no, don't go and beat yourself up. That won't get you anywhere. But decide to choose different. Decide to take a different course, a different action to really truly get you what you want. But it means you got to first tell the truth. You got to be honest with yourself. And really see, are my outcomes lining up, are my actions lining up with the outcomes that I want? So take one of those 4 lessons that I just shared and apply it to an area of your life and see what insight comes up for you. And then on top of this, here's the last part of the more tip. So insight's great, but if you're content with insight, you will get nothing fucking done. That's like listening to this podcast and going, oh, that was awesome, Karen. And like never doing anything, never doing, oh, that's a great more tip. Yeah, that's awesome. And never doing anything. I still love you, sister. But if you want things to change, nothing's going to change unless something changes. Or for those of you that want to go deeper and like, I've been wanting to maybe coach with Karen, like how would that work coming to a live event? Or how would that work, that online course? Or how would it work coaching one-on-one? Like take fucking action. What are you waiting for? Right? Action trumps everything. So what is one action step you can take a result of that insight from applying one of those 4 lessons I just shared from boxing to one area of your life? And what I want you to do right now then, sisters, is head over to drkarenosborn.com. There are a lot of you, like straight up, that are not on the newsletter. You are missing the fuck out. You're missing out. You get all these show notes. So you could sit here and be like, oh, I'm going to take notes and stuff. No, dude, you're going to get all those show notes actually emailed to you with clickable links. Like, easy peasy. It just shows up in your inbox, right? So head over to drkarenosborn.com. And there's a couple different areas where it's actually going to just pop up as soon as you go in saying, enter your name and email and get access to my More For, which is your daily guide for accessing power in your life. And also means every single day you're going to be at VIP access. My upcoming book that's coming out in 2017. All my new courses that are coming out, my master classes, the live events, coaching. So make sure to head over to drkarenosborn.com. That pop-up's going to be there for you. Enter your name and email. You'll get immediate access to the More For guide, your daily, again, access for power. And we will connect them with you on a daily basis. So I will talk to you in the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborn.com/newsletter.